Shalom, TaNaKh Wisdom. Covenant versus testament. A testament. A testament is a will that someone writes to his survivors after he is dead, and is only enforced when he is dead. That's what a testament is. A covenant is what the scripture translates from barat. The word for covenant in Hebrew is barit, from the verb root barat, bet, resh, tau, and the function of that verb root is to separate out parts. A covenant, separating out parts. The idea is to get a sacrificial animal, cut it in two, separate out the parts, and then you and the person who you're making an agreement with walk between those parts in that messy puddle of blood, and you agree to commit to whatever it is you agree to at the expense of one another's blood. If I violate the covenant, the pact I make with you, then it'll be at the expense of my blood being shed, and vice versa. That's a covenant. Now it makes sense that when a man takes a woman to be in covenant relationship with him, she was supposed to be a virgin. And that covenant is sealed upon, in the marriage bed, when they have intercourse, he penetrates her, and because she's a virgin, her blood flows over his procreator, and they are in covenant relationship. So the first covenant is that which was made to Israel, but they failed. We talked about that in the previous upload. They failed Yahweh Elohim. And so he had to come down, experience what man had subjected himself to, overcome it victoriously, and establish a renewed covenant. That's what they call the New Testament, is actually Berit Chadasha. Berit, covenant. We had that explanation. Chadasha comes from Chadash, Chet, Dalet, Shin. And that's the word for renew. Renew. Like a new moon, 30 days, literally. It means to renew. So the second covenant is the Berit Chadasha, the renewed covenant. Because the first covenant, the nation of Israel failed Yahweh. It didn't accomplish its purpose in the hearts of that Hebrew nation. And so Yeshua came to fulfill the prophecies in the Torah and establish a new covenant in him through his blood. And now the Spirit of the Father can enable us to not fail where the nation of Israel failed in the first covenant. Shalom, TaNaKh Wisdom. Ain't no Old Testament, New Testament. It's first covenant and second covenant, which is the renewed covenant. Shalom, TaNaKh Wisdom.